Hi, my name's Stephen Hannon. I'm running for Mayor of Onkaparinga. The other day I was at a community forum and I met this old lady. Well, she was older than I was, so that's older than me. Anyway, and they call me old. So anyway, she's an older lady and she's there with her husband. The husband doesn't say much, but he smiles a lot, right? So she comes up and talks to me and she gives me this. It's a little post-it note with the train on it. And she's like, look, I want to train for Aldinga. Labor promised it, Liberal promised it, and it hasn't come. I don't know when it's coming. I've been waiting 50 or 60 years. And she's like, why should the community have to wait for the slackness of their thing? Write to your members and they won't get back to you for 4 weeks or if that, but keep writing because eventually you'll get there. And she's got something here about the noise, the wheel that squeaks the most gets the most oil. She was lovely. The husband, she was like, we've been married 67 years. They said it wouldn't last. And here we are, 67 years married. And I'm like, well done. And he kept smiling at me. As she had so much life, so much passion for her cause. She wants to train in Aldinga. So she lives in Aldinga, wants to train, has been promised, and she gets no answers. Okay, so she's going to council members and saying, well, will you support me? And I said, look, it's not a council's role, this is transport. But I said, I can get on your bandwagon and help you, and yeah, absolutely, come and meet with the local MP, who she's clearly met with many times, Mr. Bignell, and other MPs, and other people, and push your thing, which they've already promised. But I suppose what she wants is answers. When's this going to happen? Is it in 20 years, 30 years? But I think the biggest problem in this, and it's all handwritten. I think that's cute. I think it's really cute, and God bless her. She's put his address on the back here just to make your life easy to message him. But I think the message in here, I worked in the public service. My day when I started, so I managed a section of 4 teams. My day when I started, so I started at about 7:30 every morning. I get in and ministerials come in to me. Well, they can come in at any time, but they generally come in the morning, they're handed out, and you've got to answer them by lunchtime. And if you're lucky, if you answer it correctly, it doesn't come back, right? And by lunchtime, you're like, well, that's good, that's all done with, I can get on with real work, right? But if they're not happy with your response, it comes back and you've got to re-answer it, right? So you want to answer it correctly and clearly. Your answers should be that a 7-year-old can understand it, okay? So it should be simple language, which I excel in simple. Simple is what I really do well. But it's not acceptable that she doesn't get an answer in 4 weeks. That's not acceptable. For Mr. Bignell and the other MPs you've written to from the train lead, I can kind of guess her name, but it's not acceptable. I wrote to one of the local MPs the other day about schools, because schools and didn't respond to me. It's I'm like, okay, so is this the way it's you've got staff to respond, and I understand you're busy, but you actually have a department. You have a department which responds to you. That's what they do. They respond to questions. And they spit out these standard responses, and a lot of them are standard responses and give you no information, which hopefully I didn't do, because that's what I didn't do. Hopefully you provide information. Now, what the train lead's after is, when are you planning to do the train line? Now, if you don't know when you're going to do the train line, say it's not in the next 4 years we're not doing the train line. I own a building on South Road, and what's this got to do with the train lady? I own a building on South Road which is getting demolished, or it's been demolished today. They're building a tunnel under South Road, okay? That's what they're doing. There's a tunnel. I didn't know. Well, someone knew. Someone knew you're building a tunnel under South Road. Someone knew. Maybe they don't want to tell us because it puts up the prices of land. I don't know. Someone knows. Someone knows. And you don't tell us. It's about transparency. Why is this a secret that you're going to build a tunnel under South Road? Like, it's not a big deal. Yeah, well, it's a big deal for all the businesses. You got to close and all those jobs that get lost. But then they've got a plan for it. So if you give a bit of notice and say, well, look, because you did it as an election promise. You said, this is our number one priority. This is what she said to me. This is our number one priority, put a train through to Aldinga. Well, if it is or if it isn't. Now, generally when you come up, I worked in policy costings too. So whenever you came up with a brainchild of an idea, you put it through to this policy costing unit and they would cost it and say, this is how many $1 million your brainchild is going to cost. And when you put up your brainchild of an idea to Parliament and to the department, it comes with an amount of how much it's going to cost. And if it eventually makes it to fruition, to germination, then that costing is monitored. So I'm going to hit Mary and Paul, and I'm just going to pull numbers out the air, which I probably shouldn't do. But I think it was originally costed at 50 million, and I should probably have it here. But I think it ended up costing like 1.2 times that. So no, 2.2 times. I think it costs 120 million. And that's what you do in Parliament, in government. You say, this is what it's cost, and this has been our best costing, and then you monitor how that costing pans out in time. And you might be out, and then hopefully that's the way it works. But hopefully make it within inside budget. But if it doesn't fall in budget, then it's like, well, what did you stuff up in your costings? All right. And if you're the person doing the costings, well, you stuffed it up. So anyway, Mrs. Train Lady, gone off track again as I normally do. Like, you deserve an answer. You should be told how much it's going to cost to put a train line from one spot to the other, and when they plan to do that, and when that's in the budget, when those funds are allocated, you absolutely deserve it. Love your passion, love the hand printed notes, and I think you should have an email so people can contact you, because you're out there, you're pushing your message, and you're putting the hard work in, and that's what we should be about, putting your hard work in and getting your point of view forward and getting support for it. Anyway, her view, she would like a train to Aldinga, which has been promised by both sides of Parliament. So I'm Stephen Hand, I'm running for Mayor, and I would absolutely support her in her quest to have a train to Aldinga. Look, is my view that we should have a train to Aldinga or not? Look, I don't know the costings. I don't know how much money it will generate and what it delivers. But that's not my thing. But she absolutely deserves the right to have those answers. And it's been promised. So I assume the government has costed those things and said, yes, it's a good idea, because otherwise, why would you promise it? I'm Stephen Hand, running for Mayor. Appreciate your vote. Thanks for watching.